again, book lovers. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a video I'm really excited for, and that is my 2026 planner slash journal ecosystem tour. I'm still kind of figuring out my system of journals and planners, but I do think I found one that's going to work well for me this year that helps me manage both my reading life, my content life, and my regular actual life. Before we jump in, if you enjoy journaling and bookish content, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the little bell icon if you want to get notified for the next upload. It really helps the channel and it means a lot to me. So grab yourself a cup of tea, settle in, and let's go through my lineup for the year. Before we jump in, let's have a quick look and overview of all of the notebooks that are in my lineup for 2026. As far as planners go, I have my content planner and my main planner. As far as journals go, I have my content journal, my memory journal, my book journals, my bullet journal, my reflections journal, and of course I have my ever-growing to-do list, which goes in its own notebook as well. Now let's go one by one. So first up, I have my content planner, which is my headquarters for all of my social medias. This is a Muji A6 monthly weekly planner, and I think this is a perfect size. This is the type I used last year for my content as well, and it really worked well for me, so I got the same one. And this is perfectly transportable. It's a great size. It's perfect for whenever I need it, and it has all the space that I need. So first up in here, I have my little key, which tells me which social media it's on, and then if it's completed, and then these little dots say if it's an extra post that is supposed to be posted that day of the same post, but on a different media. Next up, there's a quick overview page. I haven't found a use for this yet. Last year, I tried to use it to show when I've posted things, but it's just come to the point where I post things almost every day, so it's not very useful to me. So I didn't do that yet. This year I'm still figuring out what I'm going to do with that. Then my monthly overviews page, they have lots of monthlies. Those give me an idea of what I have scheduled and posted. I don't write it into there until it's finished or scheduled. So that is in there, and it has the multiple different posts just so I can see when I posted what. So for my weekly ones, I have on each day the different posts that I'm doing, and that is highlighted by which social media it's on, and the little dots, like I said, show if it's on an additional social media page. The little purple ones here are both holidays, so bookish holidays, things that bookish events, days like read a book day or whatever. And it also has my release days for my arcs in the purple. I very occasionally ever keep my posts very spontaneous because it just puts a lot less stress on my mind if I have it scheduled out and have it just perfectly ready for me to post, and I know exactly what's being posted when. On the right, you will see there is a blank space on the planner, and I've used it. I change it up what I use it for. On this page, you can see the top part is a to-do list. Which, like I said, this is this week, so it's not super full, but you can see I have this filming for booktube, and then I also have my scheduling my posts. I usually don't put my to-do list here because I have my separate to-do list notebook, which you'll hear about later, but I change this up whether it's just random ideas I have, different things. And then at the bottom here, you also see that I have my TBR. I changed that up as well. I usually put a TBR in this planner about once a month. The page changes. It's just my free write space. Sometimes I will draw out different things that I want to incorporate into my post. I will draw out like a journaling page. It just really depends on what type of content I'm making that week and what my brain thinks of. So it's like an empty free write space for my content. And that's my content planner. What I really like about having a content planner is that it's all centered into one space. I don't get muddled with my other stuff that I have going on. It just makes it really easy for me and frees up my mental space to not have to worry about what's being posted when. Next up is my main planner, which is also from Muji. This is an A5 viewable all at once daily monthly planner. So this is a new one for me. I typically left my schedule online last year. I had on Google Calendar and stuff all of my different things. But I found that I was missing out on things or losing things. Like I just didn't know when my appointments were, or I didn't keep track of what I was supposed to be doing. So I've gotten this one. This is a new edition this year, and I think it's going to be really helpful for me. So basically, as I said, this is where my schedule lives, my habits, my big item to-dos, different things like that. It's my appointments. Everything is in here to help me keep track of my life. Okay, so let's look into it. Again, I have another key here. Like I said, this is new to me, so there's probably going to be more added to the key. But my 3 items on here include the holidays, my family functions, and then health things. Like I said, there's going to be more. I know there is, but I'm leaving it at that for now because those are the ones that I needed to add. I'm not going to show you any of the pages I already filled out because this one is a pretty personal one and it would give away a lot of details about my life that I don't think everyone needs to know. So I will move on to February and I will show you that one. Okay, so what happens here is it is a viewable all at once, which means when I open up to February, you're going to see this is January here. And that's, you'll see when I open up February's one, but you open it up and you have the monthly overview. And that's just something you can keep open throughout the pages. And then you have big spaces for both of these and a blank space for whatever you think about, whatever you want to add into there, things that just didn't fit in those other ones. And so you can flip through the rest of February while keeping that open. And then when you finish February, let me get to that. There we go. When you finish February, there's also another fold out thing, and that is the opposite side here that this January one was. So you get to open that up and you can see a little list that has every day of the month on there. And that one I'm utilizing for gratitude each day just to keep me centered in myself, I guess, and make sure I am paying attention to the good. So that's what this one has in the planner itself. I'm typically a really busy person. I like staying busy. So I think this really helps me keep track of everything. I like that they can flip out so I can see them both at once. I don't write in it while it's flipped out because I don't want it to rip because it's like has empty space beneath those flaps. But when I close it, I write and then I open it back up. But what I'm saying is I think it's really helpful to be able to see it like that. And I'm excited to try this out for this year. And I think it will be very beneficial to me. Next up is my content journal. I will explain to you how this is different from a content planner in a second here, but this is the A6 Suzuki Starlit Crown journal from Notebook Therapy. Okay, so this one's pretty new to me this year as well. Last year with my content planner, any ideas I had, I would jot over there like a half idea about what I should post into my content planner. And what I found is that I never flipped back through it and I never really finished developing any of those ideas. So this content journal is really my space to work out those ideas, to put all of that into actually making a post. So the content planner is where I know what I need to post and this is how I get to that post. Basically, this is just a free space for me to put any drafts, scripts, thumbnail ideas, different little things that I'm thinking about making for content. It will go in here first so that way I can fully flesh it out in my mind into making it into a tangible post. Next up, I have my memory journal. This is an A5 Suzuki Very Sweet journal from Notebook Therapy. My memory journal is my favorite thing to look back at the end of the year. So I'm really excited about this one for this year. Last year, as some of you may have seen on my Instagram stuff, I used this small notebook and it is not going well. I'm holding it together by rubber bands. So I went with a bigger size one. I don't know what the brand of this one is because I just got it from I got it from a regular store. And so I went for a bigger size. This is kind of like both a junk journal and a memory journal. And I keep different things from my memories to look back on. And then I just add little notes on there for that memory. I wanted a bigger size. I also wanted one with better paper quality, which those ones from Notebook Therapy definitely have. So that is why I changed from this size to a bigger one. So like I said, it is a bit of memory and junk journaling. So what I do is I paste in different photos. I paste in different things that I've collected from that day. I don't put everything in here every single day. I kind of just make it based off of memories that stood out to me. So there's no pressure to make that page every day. It's just what's calling out to me to craft and make into here. Basically, this is just a beautiful, messy record of my life, and I love being able to look back on this journal specifically. Okay, this is probably the one you guys are the most familiar with, and that is my book journals. This one is from Archer and Olive, and it is the bookshelf traveler size notebook. And then this one is from Notebook Therapy, and this is the Moonlit Spells A5 size from Notebook Therapy. Okay, so last year I only had one journal at a time. This year, as you guys may know, I have two journals at a time. This one is my trackers, challenges, everything else in there. And then there is free space in the back for me to get creative. Things like if I want to make a spread about different books with witches or things like that, I have this space to make whatever I want in there that is not reviews. And then my second journal, the one from Notebook Therapy, this is my reviews journal, as reviews are the thing I write the most in all of my journals. This is my space for me to make cute spreads about books I love, put quotes in there, my thoughts on all of those books. This is my review journal. I already have a couple extra review journals lined up just in case I run out of space in that one, which I know I will because I read a lot. But those are my book journals. They're basically, as it says, they just are for my book and reading life. So I will have all that space in there to collect my thoughts on my books, and then for the other one, just anything creative I want to make bookish related. These last three journals are not ones that I'm starting in 2026. These are ones that I've used for 2025 and I'm continuing use in 2026. And that is because they're just not full. The journals are not like completed, so I'm using those. So next up is my bullet journal. And like I said, I've already have stuff in here, and that is just what happens. This is basically my catch-all notebook. Anything that doesn't fit in the rest of the notebooks that I've already said and the ones I'm about to go in here. Anything creative I want to add in here. Fun lists, maybe things that like I maybe want to get for Christmas or whatever it is that's calling to me. This is here for all of my other creative endeavors. This is just a basic bullet journal notebook from Michaels. I don't know the brand. I think it's Artist Loft maybe. All I know is that it's like just the simplest notebook I could get. It's what I used to make my book journals out of, and then I realized I needed better quality paper and stuff for that. This is that type of notebook. Some things I often keep in here are media that I've watched. I don't want to use my book review journal for those reviews, so sometimes I'll put them in there. Or food reviews. Sometimes I will write about a new food place I tried. Different things like that. Whatever it is that's just calling to me that week, or whenever I do make it, goes into here. The reason it's not mostly full, and it's honestly like maybe a third of the way in, is because it's not something that I typically want to make. It only like calls out to me every very once in a while. So it has a lot of empty space, so I'm just gonna continue this. I don't feel like wasting another notebook and wasting this one by not finishing it, so it's just gonna be my 2026 bullet journal as well. Next up, this one is probably one of my most important ones, and that is my reflection journal. Which is more of an introspective thing. Sometimes I'm just writing about my week, what worked and what didn't. Sometimes I'm writing about things that just caught my mind, thinking about like, what do I like in a friend, or who do I want to be? Very big questions that I don't always have the answer to, but I just want to think about it and figure out me, I guess. Hello, my microphone died in the middle of me filming that clearly, so I went to go charge it, and now I am back. So we were talking about my reflection journal. So like I said, this is a longer free write. I usually use up both spaces. This is just an introspective, like it helps ground me, keeps me centered in myself, keeps me away from distractions while I'm doing this, to help me really focus in on who I want to be and all of that stuff. So that's what this journal is. I typically, like I don't know if I said it already or if that was part of what's cut out, but I write in it about 1 to 2 times a week, which is why it is not full yet, because that's like 52 to 100 pages. So I have a lot of space in here to continue into 2026. So that is my next journal I wanted to show you guys. This is probably one of my most important ones for me, just because, yeah, it is really centering in on myself and what it is that I care about. And then finally, but not least, is my to-do list one. This is a small little notebook. I don't know the brand or where I got it. I think I just grabbed it from like a regular store. It has this cute little keychain. It's strawberries. And I like this size. It's small, which means portable, which means I could bring it with me wherever I need it to finish up my to-do list. I like that it's spiral bound because I just rip out the pages once I'm done with them. That's why it looks so small. And there's plenty of pages still left, as you can see. So I'm going to be bringing this into 2026. This is the one I used for 2025. But I like to have my to-do list really easy to bring around. You might be thinking, oh, well, you have a main planner and a content planner, so why do you need like a separate thing for those to-do lists? So the thing is with my content planner and my main planner is that it does have good amount of spaces, but I usually use it for like big overall things that I need to do. For instance, in my main planner, I am planning a trip for Japan for next year. So it says on there, plan trip for Japan, versus my to-do list will go into all those little details to make sure I don't miss a single thing. Things like booking my flights, booking my hotel, booking my entertainment, making sure I know which cities I'm gonna go to and using which bullet trains. It just goes into all the specifics in my to-do list to make sure that I don't have to stress that I forgot something or things like that. It's all in there. So like I said, this is the distraction-free zone for my to-do list. I could obviously have these on my phone, have it like on a notes app or whatever, but I like having it physical because if I'm on my phone, I will get distracted. And since everything else this connects to, my content planner, everything else that like I have to do, my main planner, it's all on paper. So it's easier to just set myself into the mindset, set out my journals, and figure out all my to-do and do all of that. And that is my full 2026 planner and journal ecosystem. Let me know down in the comments which one's your favorite and which ones you're planning to use in your 2026 ecosystem. I know my system seems like a lot, but they all really have their own use for it, and they all work in tandem with each other really, really well to help me stay really organized for the year. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, happy reading!